It seems like if you can shoot your feature-length film in just 3 days, you are either onto something profoundly brilliant or, in most cases, something very sad. On a totally unrelated note, today's dumpster dive is 2006's Evil Behind You. Evil Behind You stars Hillary Kennedy, Manuel Velasquez, D.C. Lee, Gwendolyn Murphy, and Jim Garrity. It was released by Given the Boot Productions, which appears to have done absolutely nothing else and does not even appear to exist anymore. That's promising. First, we see footage of Dr. Jeremiah Powell, who mysteriously disappeared in the 50s. I suppose we can give them an A for effort in at least trying to make the footage look old. Good job finding those old-timey film filters in your editing software. He is talking about 2 different dimensions existing simultaneously. He compares it to how water can be solid at one temperature, then liquid at another, to prove that a being can be solid in one world and invisible in another. So there's a hot dimension and a cold dimension? That's the only reason that analogy works. No, that analogy still doesn't work. What?
Have you ever sensed an eerie presence in the room?
I'm sensing one right now. He wants to prove that we will one day be able to see the other realm, so Dr. Jekyll here injects himself with some serum. The result? He's had it with this film and goes away. And we fast forward to present day, or present-ish day. Deborah and Lisa wake up in a locked room. The last thing each of them remembers is getting into a taxi with their husband or boyfriend. Turns out those guys are chained to hospital gurneys with electrodes on their heads and bandages on their ears. Deborah's husband Tony slowly wakes up, and Deborah gets mad at Lisa because Lisa is apparently surprised at the age difference between Deborah and Tony. The actors aren't that obviously so far apart. I think the movie's just self-conscious about the actors they chose.
We get it all the time. Don't worry about it.
The sound and video editing in this film leaves something to be desired. Ever heard of ambient movie? Now we randomly flash back to some girl yelling on the phone at someone, and Lisa is asking if she can help.
No! Oh, don't hang up again! Oh!
Okay, the whining is getting really annoying. It sounds like maybe a boyfriend is breaking up with her on the phone.
Lord, please help my sister.
Okay, now it makes sense. This is clearly a Christian film disguised as a horror film. As Lisa prays, we hear what I guess is supposed to be a gunshot. I mean, it's possible she just ran into something really hard and knocked herself out, but most likely she's supposed to have committed suicide. Deborah's shiny shirt looks more like the top half of a silk pajama set. Tony thinks he senses someone behind him. Evil, maybe? Deborah tells him no one's there, then decides to look under the bandage over Tony's ear. Talk about putting a bug in your ear about something, am I right?
Why'd the room just get so cold?
Okay, this guy playing Tony keeps getting illogically intense once in a while. I think he's the scariest part of the movie so far. He says something is crawling all over him. Deborah can't find anything, but does notice that he is cold to the touch.
Oh my gosh.
Lisa tries getting David to wake up, and it's worth noting that both women use the same tactic to get the men awake.
Wake up, I need you. David, I'm afraid.
Apparently, the best way to wake up a man is to let him know you need protection. So if you can't get your man up in the morning, just burst in the room saying, "I'm being abducted," and see what happens. Suddenly, there's a flashback to David talking to a guy.
But now I can't support you until you go deal with your past demons.
Oh, there's the Christian D word. 10 to 1, those things Tony is talking about seeing or hearing or feeling or whatever, they're demons. David is being told to go back and deal with something. It really looks like the same house that Lisa and her sister were in earlier. Maybe Lisa's dad is giving her boyfriend the 3rd degree about something. Maybe Lisa's dating her brother. David wakes up. Maybe Lisa should pull the bandage off of David's ear so she can get the bugs out of his head too. Tony is still cold and suddenly isn't, but the body just moved. Lisa wants Deborah to come with her to check it out, but she doesn't want to.
He might be infected. Don't be so concerned.
Maybe Lisa's just being a concerned citizen.
I'm sorry, I am. Besides, if he's infected, we probably already have it.
Not necessarily. That could be some high-tech anti-infection comforter on top of him. So he wasn't infected. He was insected. Okay, stop throwing tomatoes at your computer screen. That's not doing any of us any good.
Is he alive?
If he isn't, he's blinking an awful lot. The man has a pulse and is breathing. The man on the other side of the room is as well. The second man spasms, and for some reason this brings about another flashback to... Oh, a creepy Uncle Joe talking to a little girl about her pretty pajamas. Asshole. Why did we have to watch that? Is the body supposed to be Uncle Joe? Is the memory Lisa's memory? Is it Deborah's memory? Is it the cockroach's memory? That scene doesn't make any sense, and because it doesn't make any sense, now we're going to dwell on it longer. Good job, movie. You're really on my bad side now. Tony wants the unconscious guy's blanket. Lisa brings it over, and Tony makes a lewd comment. In a Christian film. Interesting. Tony gets randomly intense again and says something is moving in the room. Deborah keeps saying it's just an after effect of the surgery. How do you know they had surgery? They have no stitches or cuts. All you found was a bug behind a bloody bandage over his ear. If you can't tell what surgery looks like, that might be why you can't tell what acting looks like. Was that mean? Part of me's okay with that. Suddenly, David senses someone in the room, too.
Oh, something cold is trying to get inside my body. I can feel it. Get it off! Oh.
I have a few innuendos I would like to make right here, but after that creepy girl's bedroom scene, it seems kind of like it would be in poor taste now. Thanks for ruining my dirty jokes, movie. Man, this place is bugging everyone. I'm done, I promise.
It's back! It's coming to get me! It left him. It's gone again.
These things give up easily, don't they? Suddenly, guards enter the room, and a handcuffed doctor injects Tony with a sedative because whatever's going on, it's not supposed to be like this.
I'm trying to save their lives.
Someone with a horribly fake Arabic accent shouts over an intercom for him to stop talking. Another one in the room tells Lisa to be silent, woman. With the Arabic accents in a Christian film, one can't help but wonder if they're trying to imply these men are Muslim. Meaning we might be in for a touch of racism here. Maybe not, but maybe. The one wearing the lab coat, clearly too big for him, holds a knife to Lisa's throat when she won't stop talking. David and the fake Arab voice tell the guy to back off, and everyone goes to leave. David asks the handcuffed guy why he's helping them.
You don't have a choice. You always have a choice.
You did see the handcuffs and the guns, right? Oh, never mind. You're right. Everyone always has a choice. So just leave.
Why am I handcuffed?
Oh, that's right. And we're back to another flashback. Apparently the little girls in the room with Uncle Joe were Lisa and her sister was the one who Uncle Joe ended up targeting that night.
I have no right to keep us here!
What are these hand motions? Is she an umpire on the weekends? On the other side of the glass, Big Lab Coat is getting pushy. Would a fight choreographer really have pushed the budget on this film?
So, why do you think they're doing this?
Maybe this is just a big elaborate hoax to see all of Tony's personalities. This leads to Deborah claiming this is all Tony's fault because he didn't rent a car and he doesn't have a job. Wait, what? This escalates quickly into more clunky exposition dialogue, which leads to a weird catty argument between the women, which leads to David claiming there was another reason he brought Lisa somewhere. We don't have any more time to talk about that because Tony intensely hears something. I don't know if it's supposed to look like they had surgery, but dabbing fake blood on their earlobes is not very convincing. David senses something, but doesn't hear it. And now he smells something bad.
Hear them moving around.
It's probably more bugs crawling around in your head.
There's something else going on in that room. Get me out of here! Somebody, get me out of here!
I'm so glad he's sedated. Dr. Handcuffs says there's too much brain activity. Yes, most of the time we do want brain activity, but maybe not for hammy actors. Doc blames Big Lab Coat for overdosing the men in his attempts to speed up the process.
He's useless to us. I can do much better than him.
Why do I doubt that any of you know what you're doing? David asks Lisa where his jacket is. She tells him not to worry about that. Lisa tries breaking the two-way glass. All the bad guys laugh. Those clowns. Tony suggests ramming it with his bed, and David tells Lisa to get behind him. You know, where the evil is. Tony and David both feel something. Dr. Handcuffs discovers that the brain of one of the unconscious men is recovering. Panting like a mad mama bear, the man breaks out of his handcuffs.
He's going to kill me!
He's been lying there listening to you try to act this entire time. I kind of don't blame him. Actually, I take that back. He really should go after her first. The man tries killing Tony, but Lisa beats him with various objects from around the room until he falls unconscious.
I killed him.
It's okay, Lisa. You did what you had to do.
They're not trying to make out that she killed him, are they? Because she clearly didn't. Tony freaks out that he was bitten, and like a bad improv scene, Deborah says he didn't even get him.
We're not your lab rats. Stop using us.
Yeah, you tell them in that super convincing way. Lisa pulls the electrodes off of David's head, and somehow the Arab stereotypes think this means Doc Handcuffs is a bad scientist. Doc Handcuff tells the prisoners over the intercom that he needs the monitor back on David's head because David's been exposed to some meningitis strain. Naturally, this leads to another flashback of the graveyard where Lisa's sister is buried. Perhaps we should have hidden the mic wire a little better. Doc Handcuffs rehooks the electrodes. The guys hear more noises that the girls don't.
Maybe our brains are evolving.
I doubt that very much, although you could use some evolving.
They're wanting this to happen.
Did someone forget to tell Tony that he's not playing one of the bad guys?
I'm feeling the same thing as Tony. Just about 5 minutes later than him.
So you're about to turn diabolical too? Oh, goody. It turns out the bad guys have Doc Handcuff's son held hostage somewhere. David decides to confess the real reason he brought Lisa there was to make sure he had no more feelings for Jenny, who left David for David's best friend. This shot is framed really weird, and apparently the camera guy figured that out halfway through the take. This also feels like the same house that we've seen a couple times earlier. Okay, so David and Lisa are brother and sister, and they want their dad's blessing to get married or date, and they're letting David's ex-girlfriend and her now husband rent a room.
I need to leave it behind if we're gonna move forward with you.
Are you sure that's what you want?
Are you sure you don't want to invite her into the relationship too? I'm totally cool with that. Just as things are about to get more mushy, Tony freaks out again. Now both of them think there are more this time.
It's right beside you.
Right beside me!
In defense of all the actors here, a lot of this dialogue is really stupid. We flash back to Doc Handcuff's wife getting shot, and she apparently has invisible blood. Now he's on the phone with his son and lying his ass off to him saying that mommy is all right and loves him. Tony, in attempts to punch the thing that is whispering in Deborah's ear, punches Deborah instead. At least that's the story he's going with in divorce court. Something is breathing on Tony's neck again.
It wants me.
That's awkward with all those people watching. Tony spasms, his eyes turn black, and he dies? No, he's back. He's breaking the handcuffs like the other guy. Now he's strangling Deborah, and these guys are kind of just milling around and thinking about doing something about it. Oh, now they bust in. I think they purposely waited until Deborah was dead. Or supposedly dead. I'm assuming she's dead. Oh, now that guy's alive, and now he's dead. David is asking again about his jacket, and now is crying. We all feel the exact same way about now, buddy, trust me. They finally show us the things the guys were talking about, and it's thoroughly disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. And here I thought Pinata Survival Island had bad graphics.
What's happening?
Okay, let me get this straight. The bad guys want to cure meningitis. or they want to infect people with meningitis. And the serum they used on these random people they kidnapped makes it also possible for them to see demons and be possessed by said demons. Right. David sees Tony's soul get dragged to hell. Okay, now that we can see the things, David's narration is just getting annoying. Doc Handcuff quotes a Bible verse in which a demon-possessed man cannot be bound by chains. Wait, he just shot one of his own guys. Oh, fuck it. It turns out the old guy at the beginning who disappeared was Doc Handcuff's father. Dad apparently proved that there was a spiritual realm and was probably killed to hide this fact. By Satan, then?
There is no God but Allah.
You do know that Allah and the Christian God are actually based on the same God, right? A fact that many Muslims will admit and many Christians will not, I will also point out. David asks Lisa to pray for him. She doesn't want to. I think she's supposed to be mad at God still about Uncle Joe and all of that. Bad guy gets a phone call that someone, the police maybe, are heading their way. It looks like there was a cell phone in one of the girls' purses and the police were able to track its location. So the bad guys decide to escape and blow up the building. More bad graphics come and go. David screams that he doesn't want to go to hell. Doc Handcuffs tells them that demons can't possess Christians. I'm not sure why he can sometimes punch the demons and sometimes he can't. David's getting really hungry. David gets possessed. Doc Handcuffs tries buzzing the girl out and yelling to cast the demon out, but he gets shot. The guard comes in and shoots David once, but he reacts twice. Then David starts killing guards before he collapses dead on the ground. Lisa begs God not to take him.
Are you okay?
I've been shot. Does that sound okay? He begs Christ to forgive him and asks Lisa for his jacket one last time, which magically appears, and Lisa happens to know now where it is, and then he dies for realsies this time. But of course, we see his soul get lifted into heaven, and then come back. So now we're saying ghosts exist too? While Lisa is crying, she finds the engagement ring in one of the jacket pockets.
I do. I so do.
Have we forgotten the building is about to explode?
Let's go, woman.
Suddenly, Doc Handcuffs jumps on the guy's back like a little monkey. Wait, didn't they shoot him earlier? And Lisa is battling this guy, and apparently everybody was kung fu fighting. Doc Handcuffs makes this guy call someone to have his son dropped off at the police station. Lisa is able to get out. Doc Handcuffs tells her about his son, and she very nonchalantly agrees to take care of him.
I need you to get something out of my left pocket.
Is he just looking for one more cheap grab before he dies? No, it's the vaccine, because she totally knows what to do with that. Lisa drives off in the bad guy's van, which can apparently only pick up Christian radio stations. The missing doctor appears on the road and asks for a ride. Of course, the bad guys go to hell. The doctor starts talking along with the radio about how God loves you, so stop being a turd. The doctor apparently appeared to guide her down the road to his grandson, who is clearly not in front of a police station.
Are you Johnny Powell?
Yes.
Well, I guess you're mine now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This movie is so universally panned, IMDb has it listed as a comedy. The link to the official site no longer works, and it's hard to find any other information about this movie. So apparently, Given the Boot Productions was given the boot. You set yourselves up for that, don't blame me. Granted, the low production value in every single aspect of this movie is more than reason enough for this film to be in the dumpster. But you know what really irks me about this? And I see a lot of crappy movies, so I have to pick and choose what irks me these days. What irks me is that Christian filmmakers assume that because they're Christians, they can just invoke the name of God to tackle serious issues without any expertise or research to back up what they're saying. Namely, in this case, child molestation. I fully accept the fact that I am also not an expert, and I do not have research to back up anything I could say on the topic. I'm just talking about how Christian films handle these kinds of issues on a general whole. Like so many other Christian movies, this one's basic premise is clearly not a good story, but a propaganda piece on why you should be a Christian. Because being a Christian will magically solve everything. So if you witness your sister being molested and feel guilty about not stopping it, then see your sister commit suicide later because of it, feel guilty about that, then end up in a psychologically harrowing experience of being kidnapped and watching people die and become possessed, including your own boyfriend, and then being forced into single parenthood with some strange kid, just accept Jesus into your heart and everything will be okay. If you're going to have a message in your movie, make it a useful one. Maybe have some resources on abuse recovery or suicide prevention. If nothing else, give your actress some depth beyond, oh, she was molested as a kid, so now she's whiny and unstable. Maybe it's not fair to hold any of this against an actress with such a small role, but let's face it, this is a character to which you will have audience members who have shared similar experiences. To make her such an irritating character is almost doing a disservice to those victims. Yes, I know your movie wasn't supposed to be about that. Your movie was supposed to be about guilt.
My sister would be alive today if I had stopped him.
Your movie was supposed to be about how you shouldn't blame God for such things.
I blame God. He could have stopped it and he didn't.
But if you really want to help people as a filmmaker by putting messages out there through your films that are actually useful to people, maybe it shouldn't be the exact same message that every other Christian film has churned out for the past several decades. Maybe you should be putting out films about abuse and suffering and recovery. Maybe you should have experts consulting you by helping you write the script and coaching your actors and giving you the data, the psychological effects, the practical advice on how to help people recover from traumas. Yet another Christian propaganda film is completely useless in this day and age. So, don't bother with this nonsense at all, I guess is what I'm saying.
I'll eat your soul.
Shut up, Satan.